right, let's invite Mike. Mike, where you at? Mm-hmm. Unable to join. Let's try it again. There we go.
For the culture.
For the culture.
For the culture.
Where are you right now?
I am off of the exit 20 on 93 coming back home. I needed to do a smoke inspection in Woburn.
I was
So I'm
gonna
in
say
Somerville.
that sounds like it's
Uh,
new.
yep. And yeah, I had to install a smoke alarm. I sweat a lot. Some dust some dust got in my eye, which reminded me when I was a child, a part of our popcorn ceiling fell in my eye, and I had to
Oh
be
God.
given a eye patch at school until my mom could pick me up and bring me to the eye doctor. So, um,
Well, those popcorn ceilings are known for asbestos.
yeah, oh yeah, maybe that's why I'm funny. I don't know. I don't know.
I was gonna say, oh man, that's too good.
Yeah.
Brian P. Hansen, what's going on, Brian? Sheed, what's up?
What up, Ryan?
Um,
What up, Sheed?
I mean, Sheed already knows. He knows what For the Culture is all about,
Oh, oh
guys.
yeah,
This guy
yeah,
lives and breathes the culture,
yeah.
and I'm sure Brian does too. But
Yeah.
I just don't know Brian personally. um, but Mike, let's get into it. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I think it's a timely topic based on what we did yesterday with the photo shoot and stuff like that. I mean, I know obviously on my story, I. I posted that like laughter is a big part of our culture, which it
Yeah.
is,
It
right?
is.
But we're gonna kind of focus on some of the more serious things when it comes to culture and like
Yeah.
we are running a business and we are kind of really focused on finding the right people and people who fit into our culture and buy into it, right? Like that's a huge thing is
Yeah.
buy-in for the culture. She knows all about that, but and Brian too. but,
Brian
but,
knows. Brian
but
knows.
but like what's the first thing, Mike, that comes to mind? I mean, obviously we've done exercises and talk about this all the time, but like when we think culture, Tory culture, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
Yeah, damn, I wanted to say authenticity, but man, that is overused at this point. But it's true and funny. I'm just gonna go quick anecdote because that's what I do. But yesterday when we were doing the photo shoot and we're like, oh, we like basketball. Let's put basketball in it. We like being like silly. We want that to come out in photos. Like, let's do that. There was a go back to high school with me. Connecticut Future Business Leaders of America, FBLA. Do you have that club in high school?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I am nominated for an officer position at that thing, and you have to give a speech to the whole gathering for the state that that morning of the meeting. And so the night before, I was one to get nervous and then not sleep. So I'm up till like 2:30 and 3 in the morning, and then you take a bus, and all of a sudden it's 8 a.m. and you're speaking in front of this large crowd. And the crux of my entire argument was like, guys, we can make this fun. It does not have to be a corporate hellscape. We're 17 and 18-year-old people. Like, we don't have to automatically submit our
Yeah.
personality to this, like, what we think business is or whatever. So that was at
Right.
8 a.m. By 11 a.m., if you went around at any certain point, you can hear people talking like, hey, did you see the kid on stage that was super high this morning? And that was that was what people were talking about everywhere. It's like, I wasn't,
Fast
there's the
forward,
possibility.
fast forward 20 years later.
Yeah. The, but at that time, the PSAs, the anti-drug PSAs, had a grip on
Yeah.
me. I was
Yeah.
very, very straight. But all things aside, like it doesn't just because things are the way that they are. Like you're like, oh yeah, like we even look at social media and it's just like the same cookie cutter thing. And so I think our culture requires some independent thinking and some creativity. That would be my answer in a very long about roundabout way
No,
um,
you're
to our
right.
culture.
And but here's the thing. I think one of the key things that we talked about when we sat down and talked about our culture and the environment we want to create and cultivate, we talked about getting out of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes getting out of your comfort zone is being yourself publicly.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's just the
dude.
facts, right? That's
It's
just the facts. And like we're kind of conditioned as a society to be buttoned up and be professional and don't talk about these things in professional settings or don't do these things in professional settings. This is the way to do it. This is the playbook. The fact of the matter is we don't really have a playbook. Like
yeah,
we have like pillars, right? We have like some foundational stuff that we always tout and make sure that we like discuss regularly and iterate on regularly, but the playbook is so individualistic. It's so like you said, it's like your individual creativity, it's your authenticity, it's you coming out into the business and being
right.
projected onto your business. And that's what we're about. And there's a lot more that goes into it. But I agree with you. That's actually one of the things that we talked about is that comfort zone. And a lot of times what makes you comfortable, you're taught to like not do that stuff. like
Yeah,
out in the open. And that's anti us is my
yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that that's not difficult to do still. Like you probably
No.
get the same things that I guess just like like Mike, Saad, always themselves. Like always like it's refreshing that like that still takes like you don't know what's going on like the fight that's going on in my head of like you still got to do it. You
Oh
got to
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's not
What you don't
easy
think I
all the time.
second you don't think we second guess ourselves?
Yeah.
Brian, Honey Collection,
Yeah.
Beacon Light. like you don't think we second guess ourselves? It's like constant battle up here. But 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 we've been so consistent with these things,
Yeah.
like that battle is now super short. Like
Yes.
I think about it for milliseconds or even a couple of seconds maybe instead of days.
Yeah.
right,
Right.
right.
Days. I'm still losing some of the fights out here.
Exactly.
I still lose
Uh,
some of them.
and but now I think there's some predictability to that. Like people
Mm,
know that we're going to be ourselves and we're going to be out there a little different. I think a big thing, just business wise, for us going along with that predictability is uh, like repeatable and consistent communication.
hmm
Communication is a big piece of not just our business, any business, right? Like our clients know what to expect. Like we have that initial call with them. We know what's going to happen. They know what's going to happen. They know the process. We share the process map with them. We send them emails at each stage, right? Specific to them. And they know that our follow-ups are going to be tight
hmm
and that our follow-up's going to be timely. Like those people can expect that. They know
Yeah.
that, right? And that's a huge part of our culture is not messing around with the communication piece, and not just with our clients, with our partners, with each other.
Yep.
Like obviously, we have one-on-ones with our agents and things like that, just to make sure that we have one-on-ones with each other, you and me do, twice a week to and our even our VA, because communication is that important. Like, and sometimes, like, do we keep all those one-on-ones? No, but like, but it's important to be there so we can stay tight as a unit, because that's what we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, what else comes to mind for you when it comes to culture? And I can kind of like, I think one thing I'm looking through the list of things that we had put down was was dedication to your craft. Now I have some thoughts on that. What comes to mind when you think about that piece?
Yeah. So, um, another cliche of above and beyond sort of stuff, right? I'm coming from, uh, this smoke inspection. Uh, Something felt off on the amount of alarms in there. Like, it's on me to check, right? It's not like, oh, I just signed up for this smoke inspection, fire department's here, and then it's going to fail or whatever. So I called and talked to the fire department, and I was like, it feels like two isn't enough. Tell me I'm stupid. But like admitting that you're like, even even something that you should know, just asking the question for clarification. I think some people are like, oh, that's like way in the past for me to do that. Yeah, I've been doing this for 9 years. I still like couldn't tell you exactly like
Yeah,
with certainty that law. And they're like, oh yeah, there should be one above the stairwell. There you go. I'm glad I asked on
yeah,
that. Something fell off, so I did it. Um, so uh, whether it's that or like, you know, I think of, unfortunately, we had a deal fall through on Saturday from an inspection, but I knew all the hurdles that we had to get through, and somebody could have just been like, show the house, submit the offer, go on the inspection. And then all the in between was, I need to make sure that the mortgage payment is right because I know that this is a tight window. I know that the other side is looking to continue renting. Let's talk to them to make sure that the new price is good with them so that we can come to the mortgage folks with a solid
mm,
second rental income. I know that the buyer is going to need to get out of her lease. Let's call her management company to make sure that there's okay. It's a 30-day notice. Perfect. We're good there. Um, I know that this is an FHA loans, which require different things. So like, it's all those other steps to be like, I need to make sure that we're good because any one of these can throw this off. And if
right.
I just submitted the offer and went on the inspection, like none of any one of those other things could have tripped us up along the way.
Yeah, and it kind of like waste time on multiple fronts
Yeah.
if you don't do that, right? So I think like that goes along with like the general helpfulness and dependability piece of all of this, is that like, you know, look, like you just alluded to, every deal is different.
Yeah.
Every home is different, every seller is different, every situation is different, every buyer is different, every market is different, right? So like you you have to kind of put on your like, okay, like pretend like you almost know nothing, and 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 take it A to Z, uh, while kind of there's going to be some things that you actually don't know about, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, 9 years. You like in a particular, every town has different rules on smoke detectors and things like
Hmm.
that. Like you call the people that you need to call to figure it out, and that includes our partners, right? Like we text our partners all the time to figure out certain things. I had two calls with our attorneys yesterday on a deal, because the seller's attorney was being tough, and but like, we have the type of relationship with our partners where we can quickly call them and develop a strategy quickly that makes sense for our clients and
Yeah.
get it done, right? So like I think that is what our clients, our agents, and like the general kind of like Toryverse, so to speak, that we've mentioned many times, expects out of us, and that they've come to kind of like, come to realize that that comes with the territory, and that's why we get referrals, right?
Hmm.
I mean, that's why referrals are such a huge part of our business. Is that like, we have like, I think that dedication to this business, dedication to the whole idea that every deal is going to be different. There's going to be curveballs that we haven't seen before. Even we go on inspections. I've had inspectors say, "Oh, I've never seen that before." How many inspections do they do? Like Ken, for example, has done hundreds of inspections. I don't even, maybe
Yeah.
more, maybe a lot more than that. And
Yep.
and same thing with the RJ team, and they still see things that are different. So if they see things that are different, you better believe that we will, right? So I mean, I think
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
and that's just in one facet of it. So yeah, like you got to have that dedication. Like I think it's important. I go to every single inspection of my client for my clients, just like you do. I think that's really, really important. I mean, I think it helps clients feel supported. It helps clients feel that they've got somebody else in their corner, and I think that's the piece that's so important. Clients want to feel that they have somebody who's got their back,
Hmm.
right? And I think that's why, like, we tout that that goes with the communication piece, the general resourcefulness piece with the partners and all that kind of stuff. Calling, yesterday I had to go. The past couple of days I had to kind of figure out that whole zoning, not zoning, the permitting piece for that condo in Watertown, um, and it was a quick fix. But like, if I left it for my clients to figure out, or the listing agent, or the sellers, God forbid the seller's attorney was like, no, we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I had to jump in,
Yeah,
right?
dude.
And I had to make sure to get it done. So look, all this to say, every deal is different, but it's on us. It's our job
Yeah.
to do this for our clients. And
Take initiative. That's
yeah,
exactly what you do. Yeah.
yeah, right. And clients don't forget that.
Hmm.
When you do those types of things and you kind of like reduce their stress and you're like, hey, I got this, right? Like they don't forget that. That matters a lot. And it's not just good for the relationship, it's good for business.
Hmm.
So, a couple other things I want to mention too is like like I would say we're pretty blunt with our clients and with each other. Yeah, I think we try to be as clear as we can. Um, our job is not to be, although like, obviously, yeah, we do these events and we follow up regularly, and a lot of our clients are through our sphere and through referrals and things like that. So people become friends. But first and foremost, our job is to be an advisor to
Yeah.
our client.
Yeah.
First and foremost, our job is to be a real estate agent, right? And I think too many times clients fall into that whole that and if we're not that advisor, if we're just a friend or something like that, then clients kind of like, or if clients feel like we're just a friend, then I think we're doing our clients a disservice if we make them feel that way.
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
agree?
I agree. Yeah. I've been caught over the years, like, on some occasions, like kind of like, um, being too, like, uh, not lenient is the word, but like bend over for somebody or something like that, or like, you know, like, is this a possibility? Well, maybe it is, or whatever.
Yeah,
Instead of
yeah,
like, I I like, if I can have the rapport of like trust first, then I can say things bluntly without having to qualify them
yeah,
consistently. Like, I try to make it known, like, this is your decision, but here are the things. Here you go.
yeah.
You know,
Right. It's
and
it's it's also okay to disagree with your client.
yeah, right, exactly, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah,
Like you don't to be a yes man or yes woman, yes person, whatever you
yeah.
want to call it, is if you are that, that's what I mean. You're doing a disservice.
Hmm.
Like you got to challenge your clients. You have to expect that your clients have to feel comfortable disagreeing with you. Sometimes that means difficult conversations. Um, but that's what I mean. Like that, if you're a true advisor, you're blunt with them, you're clear with them, you develop that trust that you mentioned, that credibility that lends to not only like a good relationship and ultimately them becoming friends and all that kind of stuff, repeat business, blah blah blah. But man, that relationship's gonna last forever, right? Because it starts early, and I think like, look, I made mistakes on that too,
Hmm.
and I think
Yeah.
the word is sometimes I have been lenient, right? I've been like, oh yeah, this is a friend, like I'm gonna kind of like be a little lackadaisical with my process. And Shiroz, what's up? Anjum, what's going on? Hi everybody, thanks for joining. But I've definitely been lackadaisical with my process, and that comes to that actually not only hurts me because I lose business, but it hurts them because they're not working with me.
Hmm.
Right? Like that's just that's just, I mean, they have the pick of the clients have the pick of the litter, and it's my job to make sure that they get the best service, and you know, like a top notch agent and all that kind of stuff. Not to toot my own horn. I'm just saying, I'm just saying though that like it's really important to do that, or else they're going to end up going down a path where they actually do not get the level of expertise that they need when they're making the biggest investment of their life.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. No, we're
Um,
it's okay to learn. It's okay to learn. Like that's how you know these things. You've made the mistake in the past,
exactly. Yeah.
right?
That's part of the
Right.
process. Part of the
Mm,
process. And like I think if you have enough of these conversations, you do enough deals, you lose enough deals, like that's how you start to kind of build that mindset, right? And then you get better and better. That
yeah,
doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes later on. Like I say this to every agent that thinks about joining Torii or becoming an agent, or new or older. I tell them, you're not going to bat 1,000. You're not, right? And anybody who thinks they are, or is telling you that you will, or sharing that, like, like this is a relatively easy type of gig, they're
mm,
lying. Like this is not. And then that's where it goes to. I think the last piece I wanted to mention, there's no replacement for like putting in the work,
yeah,
right? There's a lot of things you need to stay consistent on. We talked about follow-ups. We talked about, that whole idea of like making sure the client feels like an advisor. Um, in terms of being helpful, being dependable, like you got to work on those things. You got to put in the effort. You have to learn. You have to show up to inspections, showings. Talk to partners, all that kind of stuff. You have to market the hell out of yourself, right? Like if you're not, I mean, on that piece, Mike, you know it. Like if you're not marketing, you're the one that taught me this. Like if you're not
yeah,
marketing, if you're not putting yourself out there, it doesn't matter if you have everything else.
yeah, yeah. And that's a thing that I've needed to relearn, right? Like we might have like at one point I was like, oh, there are people that I've seen somewhat consistently that like have gone and bought places like without me. I'm just like, what's up here? It's like, oh, you got to keep, even though you see them, even though it's a good time, you gotta you gotta mention it. And that's why it's just
Oh
like,
yeah,
I don't know, like that's my approach is like I'm obligated to remind you if there's anybody in your orbit that is looking to buy or sell.
right, right,
That's it. And then
exactly.
get it out of the way. And then because it is a weird if you hesitate on it, then you're just like, oh, when can I work this in the conversation right now? And it's like it's ridiculous sometimes because it's
Yeah,
like,
and
hey,
but I think that's why that mix of like, for those that, I mean, nobody on the call will know this, but Maria, what's up? Emily, how you doing? Natalie, we got a bunch of new folks coming in.
all
Welcome,
right,
everybody.
love that.
But like today, by the way, today we're talking about culture at Torii. We're talking about the things that kind of like we really tout as an organization, especially Mike and I, but to the rest of the team, especially new agents that join. And the last thing we're discussing right now is putting in the work. And one of the key things is marketing, because especially within your sphere, once you build that credibility, once you build that trust, and let's say you even close a deal with them, right? If you're not marketing, they're gonna forget.
Mhm.
They're gonna forget, especially this day and age where people's attention spans are like,
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
non-existent.
Don't take
Um,
it like you shouldn't take it personally because think of yourself how many times you forget about. Oh yeah, I remember. Oh, that guy I talked to last
yeah,
year
right,
or whatever.
right.
It
Yeah, I mean,
just a little poke.
staying top of mind is hard,
Yeah,
right? Like
just keep
staying top
poking.
of mind is hard, and you just have to kind of like, I mean, there's that combination of like passive marketing. Social media
Hmm.
is great for that, right? Because you don't have to like individually reach out to people. Like you just post stuff and people will
Yep.
see it,
Yep.
right? Um, and then there's active marketing, like showing up in person to certain things. Like we talk about those housewarming parties, and like and part of it is also follow-ups, right? Like 'cause that's not marketing, but that's just kind of like process related. But that's important too. So, Mike, where'd you go? You still there?